What's up, B.N.H family? Today, man, we're gonna be reacting to Caitlin Clark's whole story from childhood to Iowa to the WNBA. So, I think she got a pretty interesting story. She come from a small town, to superstardom. So let's check it out.
I've been saying it for years. I keep telling everybody she's the Steph Curry of women's basketball, college or pro. She is a superstar.
Up in time, Clark for the win! Yeah!
She put women's basketball on the international map. She shot jump shots from the logo. She went Steph Curry on women's college basketball.
She go for history!
She has been recognized as the girl counterpart of the greatest shooter on the planet and has single-handedly brought an insane amount of attention to the WNBA unlike ever before. In this video, we'll dive deep into Caitlin Clark's origins and talk about how a simple Iowan girl became a one-of-a-kind legend in the world of women's basketball. Caitlin Clark was born in West Des Moines, Iowa to Ann and Brent Clark. When Caitlin was just about 2 or 3 years old, her parents sensed that she was going to be special. The daycare that she went to reported that she has exceptional motor skills and coordination. But on top
Hey, did you know that SMUD is now paying Sacramento homeowners thousands of dollars upfront to put a backup battery?
On top of that, the thing that really caught their attention was the incredible feistiness and competitiveness that she had shown at a very young age.
I think, especially when I was younger, I really struggled with understanding losing, and my parents did not really appreciate that at all. Whenever I would lose, when I was in either softball, basketball, whatever it was, I would just cry. That was my immediate reaction because I couldn't comprehend why wasn't I winning. Like, all I wanted to do was win, no matter if it was a board game, a card game, really anything. Like, I just was gonna do whatever it took to win.
Sports became a natural outlet for Caitlin to unleash her competitive side. Her parents enlisted her in endless activities, from volleyball, soccer, football, softball, golf, and basketball. She particularly excelled at softball and soccer, where she just played 2 levels above everybody else. However, her softball and soccer careers were cut short before they could even take off, as she got bored with both sports since no one could compete with her and match her intensity. This minor setback actually paved the way to basketball, and from the very first moment she touched the round leather ball, she knew down inside that this was the sport where she would thrive best.
Yeah, I think growing up, especially throughout like even middle school, like I was still doing a bunch of different sports, and once I got into high school, I was just doing basketball and soccer for the most part, and then after sophomore year, I gave up soccer and kind of knew my future.
Damn, so that means she just a natural athlete, because for her to be like because soccer's not an easy game to play. You got to be athletic to play soccer, and for her to say she got bored because it just wasn't no competition for her, man, that tells you a lot right there. So yeah, she played softball too, and it kind of reminded me of, like, I'm not comparing her to like Jordan and nothing like that, but like as far as the competitiveness, like she's not wanting to lose. Super competitive with whatever she played, whether it's cards or basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever. You know what I'm saying? She's just super competitive, and she just hates to lose. So, hey, maybe that's what it takes. That's what it takes to be great.
Basketball, and from the very first moment she touched the round leather ball, she knew down inside that this was the sport where she would thrive best.
Yeah, I think growing up, especially throughout like even middle school, like I was still doing a bunch of different sports, and once I got into high school, I was just doing basketball and soccer for the most part, and then after sophomore year, I gave up soccer and kind of knew my future was in basketball, and that's where I was going to be the most successful.
As expected, Caitlin dominated basketball, just like how she dominated the other sports that she previously played. Since her father could not find a girls' league for her age group, Caitlin joined a boys' league in West Des Moines when she was 5 and competed in a boys' recreational league. Despite how awkward it was, Caitlin killed it against the bigger boys, and it was never an issue for her to play with them since she was surrounded by a lot of boys throughout her entire life. She has an older brother named Blake and a younger brother named Colin, who both played hoops, and she has a lot of boy relatives who were engaged in a lot of sports endeavors as well.
I think growing up playing with the boys, like I played with the boys honestly, I think until about 6th grade. My parents kind of just knew I was a little more advanced in my skill set from a young age. Looking back, like I never like questioned it. It never was like, oh, why am I playing with the boys? It was just what I did. Like,
basketball became an obsession for Caitlin. As a young hooper, she drew huge inspiration from four-time WNBA champ Maya Moore of the Minnesota Lynx, and oftentimes she would travel with her father for 3.5 hours each way just to see her play live. And in order to be great in her craft, she knew that she had to put in the work and compete harder than ever before, which was why there were times when things got bloody messy because Caitlin refused to lose.
I think my brothers, like growing up, my mom probably had to deal with way too many fights. I threw my brother into a wall one time and he split open his head. And my older brother was always just bigger, stronger, faster. So whenever I wanted to play with him and his friends, like I just got picked on or you know, I never won really anything. And my mom always said, like, if you want to play with them, you got to find a way to hold your own. Like, you're the one that wants to hang out with them and play sports with them. Like, that's just how it's going to be.
Her ultra competitiveness and passion for the game led her to join the powerhouse All-Iowa Attack program in Central Iowa back when she was in 6th grade, and at the same time, she attended Dowling Catholic High School in West Des Moines to play under head coach Kristen Meyer. Caitlin wasted no time in making a name for herself in high school. As a freshman, she racked up 15.3 points, 4.7 assists, and 2.3 steals per game while notching All-State third-team accolades and became part of Team USA's under-16 women's roster, which grabbed gold in Argentina. Then in her sophomore season, Caitlin elevated her game to a
That's just how it's going to be.
Caitlin wasted no time in making a name for herself in high school. As a freshman, she racked up 15.3 points, 4.7 assists, and 2.3 steals per game while notching All-State third-team accolades and became part of Team USA's under-16 women's roster, which grabbed gold in Argentina. Then in her sophomore season, Caitlin elevated her game to a whole new level, averaging 27.1 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 2.3 steals per game, earning first-team Class 5A All-State honors while also leading All-Iowa Attack to a championship in the Nike Elite Youth Basketball League, where she racked up 23 points in the final game. Her third season in Dowling was considered to be her breakout year in high school, and the same time when she began to draw eyeballs on the national stage. On February 4th, 2019, Caitlin rocked women's basketball when she dropped 60 points in a 90-70 victory against Mason High School. Her 60-point game was the second highest single game point total in Iowa's girls basketball history. And on top of that, she also set the state single game record by knocking down 13 three-pointers and was also named the Gatorade Player of the Year after averaging an insane stat line of 32.6 points, 6.8 rebounds.
Wow. Damn. She averaged 32 points, 6 rebounds, and she scored 60. Man, she been dominating. She been dominating, man. Like, that's crazy.
3.6 assists and 2.3 steals per game.
She's got some skills and talents that most other players don't have, and a lot of that was just her court vision. She's fearless on the court. She, just isn't scared of anything and just plays really big, if that makes sense.
After a stellar junior season, everyone thought that Caitlin would dial it down, but instead, the opposite happened as she amped her stats even further to end her historic high school run. In her final year, she averaged 33 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds, along with 2.7 steals a ball game, leading the state in scoring for the second time while helping her team reach the regional finals with a 19-4 season record. Being ranked as the #1 player in 2020 by ESPN, lots of Division I teams were on the lookout for Caitlin since she was just a sophomore. Her parents wanted her to attend Notre Dame and play for legendary coach Muffet McGraw. However, she pivoted at the last minute and chose Iowa instead because she was drawn to the team's up-tempo offense, which perfectly suited her playing style.
Well, first of all, this is like one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life is coming here. But I felt in my heart like I had to be here, like something was really pulling me here. And obviously this is my home state and I wanted to represent my state. And I wanted to do something that really hadn't been done for a really long time. Obviously we hadn't been to the Final Four since 1993. And
as Iowa's starting point guard, Caitlin quickly made a splash in the collegiate ranks, despite being just a freshman. In her debut game, she racked up 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists against Northern Iowa.
Damn, she was balling from the jump, man. But you know, people like to compare like to Steph Curry because of how far she shoots her threes. But watching this and checking out her story, I hate to make this comparison, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, but I got to make it. Her story reminded me more like Larry Bird. And the reason why I say that, because just like Larry Bird, they both come from small towns in the Midwest area. You know what I'm saying? They both went to small like colleges. I mean, I guess Iowa's a big college, but for basketball, they never really had a real basketball program like that. You know, at least not. I've never heard them doing anything in basketball, but you know, like that right there. And they both hit the three. It's a lot of similarity. They both hella competitive, and they had the rival in college. Like I know a lot of people, you know, don't like to compare her to Angel Reese, but I'm not comparing her. I'm just saying though, as far as, you know, meet up in the finals, you had, you know, the white girl, the black girl, you know, one from the small town, the other one from the bigger city, you know, and they met up in the championship. And just like when Bird met up against Magic's team won. Angel Reese's team won, even though, you know, Angel Reese, I wouldn't say she was like the best player on that team, but she was the biggest star though. It's real similar. Their stories, her and Bird, the stories like hella similar. And just like Bird, when he came into the league, the NBA wasn't doing shit. The NBA wasn't that big, they wasn't that famous. And, you know, him and Magic brought the league back up. Well, not back up, but they brought the league up to a whole nother level. You know, people really started watching it. Because before that, it was on tape delay. And then after Magic and Bird, it was on prime time. So just like Caitlin Clark, freshman, you know, she come in the league first year, numbers is through the roof. So I like to compare her to that because not just the way they play, but her impact on the game and the way and her story. That's where my comparison come in. But I don't know what y'all think. Let's check out the rest of this though.
And in the following game, she posted her first double-double with 30 points and 13 assists versus Drake. From then on, she would continue her scoring rampage and ended up averaging 26.6 points, 7.1 assists, and 5.9 rebounds by the end of the season. And although they got knocked out in the Sweet 16, Caitlin led the NCAA in scoring and ranked second in assists as well as three-pointer per game. Her second year told a different tale as she led Iowa to the championship and was named the Big Ten Tournament Most Outstanding Player, which was highlighted by her 41-9 performance against Nebraska in the semifinals.
Clark looking for it, steps it back, it's a three on the way! It's another three for Caitlin Clark!
Though this was the case, Iowa was upset by the 10-seeded Creighton in the second round of the Big Dance, ending the season in another disappointment. However, individually though, Caitlin was able to improve her numbers, averaging 27, 8, and 8 while bagging major awards along the way. After back-to-back seasons of coming up short in the NCAA tournament, Caitlin was a girl on a mission in her third year. For the second straight season, Caitlin led Iowa to a Big Ten Tournament championship where she earned Most Outstanding Player honors yet again. She did it by tallying 30 points, 17 assists, and 10 rebounds against Ohio State, making it the first ever triple-double in the finals of the tournament.
With the bucket, then Caitlin Clark goes to work.
Caitlin's remarkable run would continue as they finally barged through the second round of the NCAA tournament and entered the Elite Eight, where she recorded a monster stat line of 41 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds to defeat Louisville, making her the first player in men's or women's tournament history to record a 30 or 40-point triple-double. Just like what she promised, Iowa made its way back to the Final Four since 1993, going up against the undefeated defending champion South Carolina. Caitlin was never fazed by the pressure and came up big when the light shone the brightest.
Clark. A deep one. You bet! Caitlin Clark
In the semifinals, she delivered an absolute banger, racking up 41 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds, ending South Carolina's 42-game winning streak while helping Iowa to punch its first ever ticket to the national championship. With a record-breaking 9.9 million viewers, Caitlin put up 30 points and 8 assists against Angel Reese's LSU in the championship game. However, despite her efforts, Iowa fell to LSU 102-85. With one win away from her ultimate goal, Caitlin braced up for one final run in her college career. As a senior, she continued racking up 30 to 40 points left and right, but the biggest game that she had was on the night of March 3rd, when she finally became the greatest scorer in NCAA history after knocking down a pair of free throws.
For the record.
See, back to that, like the whole Clark and Reese thing. Like, I don't know, I don't understand why people are so mad about the so-called hate or whatever players have for her. I think it's a good thing. You know, you don't want everybody like just getting along and shit, because I think that's what's wrong with the NBA right now. Everybody's like kumbaya, you know what I'm saying, friends and shit like that. It was when the NBA was at its best, to me, is when everybody hated each other. Pistons hate the Bulls, Bulls hate the Pistons, the Celtics hate the Pistons. Well, everybody hated the Pistons, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, the Lakers and the Pistons, they hated each other. You know, the Lakers and the Pistons, the Lakers and the Celtics hated each other. The Knicks and the Bulls, you know, it wasn't no, like, you know, they wasn't like hugging and, you know, and all this bullshit. But so I think it's a good thing. You know, I don't have no problem with none of the hard fouls either way. You know, that's part of basketball. You know, it's a competitive physical sport, you know. Hey, but that's just my opinion on that.
This for college basketball history.
Just like the previous seasons, she helped the Hawkeyes to capture its third straight Big Ten tournament championship after racking up 34 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds. Caitlin would carry her strong showing in the Big Ten to the NCAA tournament as she scored 41 points and dished out 12 assists to boot LSU out of the tournament in the Elite Eight. Then she followed it with a 21-point outburst, along with 9 rebounds and 7 assists in the semis to overcome UConn. For the second straight year, Caitlin helped Iowa to reach the championship round, and it looked like she was ready to win it all. However, despite dropping another stellar stat line of 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists, it wasn't enough for Iowa to bag the win as they were defeated yet again, this time to South Carolina in an 87-75 point loss. Despite having another year to try to win the national championship, Caitlin decided to forego her 5th season of eligibility and announced that she would declare for the 2024 WNBA draft. After breaking and establishing a long list of new records throughout her collegiate career, it was a no-brainer decision for the Indiana Fever to grab her as the #1 overall pick in the draft. For the very first time in the WNBA's history, they have a legit superstar that could take them to new heights, and right off the bat, the Caitlin Clark effect had taken the league by storm. Viewership ratings of the WNBA have significantly gone up the moment Caitlin entered the league, and in games where the Fever is playing, the WNBA has to move to different arenas just to increase seat capacity and accommodate the flock fans that turned up to see Caitlin. Viewership across ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, and CBS had tripled from last year, now averaging 1.32 million fans per game. Attendance also increased by 17% from last year over the first month of the season, making it the best attended opening month for the league in 26 years. But despite all the attention, money, and positive impact that she has brought to the WNBA and women's basketball in general, she has received a ton of criticism from legends as well as old-fashioned beating from her peers inside the court.
If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
If Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years.
I mean, Camilla's coming, Caitlin's coming. There's more than just that are coming. What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
But see, I don't even got an issue with that neither. You know why? if they not hating on you, that means you're not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? That means you're not famous. You know, all this is a good thing. It's all publicity. They're talking about it. You know what I'm saying? That them, whether it's negative or positive, they're talking about it. Because before her, they weren't talking about nothing. You know, they weren't as good as what's her name? The girl for the Aces. Anyway, well, you know, the star for the Aces is as great as she was or is. Nobody talked about her. Even Maya Moore, to me, Maya Moore is the greatest WNBA player to me. I mean, so far. I mean, I ain't saying like that she can't be passed, but right now, to me, she's the greatest. But even her, nobody was talking about her, and she, you know, winning championships after championships. As great as Taurasi was, nobody was talking about her. So just the fact that people, I mean, you got people like Gil's Arena, they never talked about the WNBA. ESPN, they didn't talk about the WNBA. Now that's like the main headline now. So I think y'all should be happy, embrace the hate because the hate brings debate. You know, you need to hate because if everybody's talking good about a player, there's no debate. There's nothing to talk about. They do it in the NBA all the time. LeBron, who's better, Jordan or, you know, what Skip used to say, LeChoke, you know what I'm saying? As great as LeBron is, somebody still got to have something negative to say. You have to have that, all the great ones. So to me, it's a good thing. Y'all should embrace it, love it. There's nothing wrong with it. It makes the league grow. Because, like, the more you talk about it, the more popular it gets. So that's all I got to say about that. Let's check out the rest of this.
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
You know, there's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where, you know, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to...
Even though this is currently the case, Caitlyn continues to prove her doubters wrong by playing her heart out night in and night out, and just recently she was named to be part of the upcoming All-Star Game while receiving the most fan votes in WNBA history with more than 700,000 despite being just a rookie. To put this into perspective, no WNBA player received more than 96,000 fan votes last year. Without question, for the first time in decades, Caitlyn's magnetic persona and superb basketball skills have put women's basketball and the WNBA into the center stage. And from the looks of things, this wildfire will just keep on growing as long as she keeps hitting those long-range threes, finding her teammates with mesmerizing passes, and knocking down big-time buckets. There you have it, folks, and if you enjoyed Caitlyn's amazing journey, please smash the like button as well as subscribe to this channel so you won't be missing out when the next video drops. Until then, thanks for watching once again and see you around.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, man, like this is good. Like they're talking about the WNBA more than ever. So whether it's, like I said, whether it's negative, positive, y'all should love all of it because it's making the league more popular. Like I said, before this, wasn't nobody talking about the league. If you're not receiving no hate, you're not great. You know, even Jordan at one time, you know, was receiving some hate. They were saying, you know, he's a ball hog. You know, you can never win the style of play he's playing. You can never win. So, like, I mean, you see how they do LeBron. You know, as great as LeBron is, people constantly just trying to downplay his game. So, man, just embrace it. Love the hate. Love the physical play. Love the competition. It just gonna make the league grow, you know. It makes people want to watch. But anyway, man, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.